Alright, Scott, do the intro.
Wait, I've come up with one more name. I'm sorry.
Alright, we'll give you 5 seconds.
One morning?
Oh yeah, be quiet.
Yeah, I'm doing the intro. Okay. Sorry. Hey, welcome everybody. This is DJ Milkshakes with MC Hamburger. We got Mixmaster Poopy Poop and Vacuum Haver D. Samiski. We're coming at you live with our Gamin Nerds. Pew, 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 pew. Ah! Over to you, MC Milkshakes.
Who's that?
That's not a person. It was DJ Milkshakes, and that's me. You're MC Hamburger. I forgot. I'm sorry. I flubbed the intro.
What?
Do it again!
What did I just hear? Do it. If you want to do it again, do it again. He'll edit it.
Who's who?
Hey, welcome everybody. This is... I'm sorry. That was a bit of... You know,
Run the intro.
The cardinal sin of radio talk is whenever you don't say words for a few seconds. And I just did that, so can we...
That was me on Borderlands.
Can we just restart one more time? Hey, this is DJ Milkshakes, MC Hamburger, Mixmaster Poopy Poop, and Vacuum Haver D. Samiski. Coming at you live from Gamin Nerds, the only internet thing ever.
You're making this an editing nightmare. This is gonna
Why
suck
am
for
I
me.
Poopy Poop?
Oh, my hamburger.
I came up with Mixmaster. When I said Mixmaster in my brain, I came up with Flava Flav afterwards, who's an actual person.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, what else could you say? Poopy Poop.
The one thing
So
you
I
could
got
say.
Poopy Poop. I got Mixmaster Poopy
I'm
Poop.
DJ Milkshakes.
That's better than Mixmaster.
who-
MC Hamburger's my favorite, though.
That's a good one.
What's your actual name? Milkshakes?
My milkshakes bring the... Oh, I'm sorry, Scott. Thomas Clutter. And my mother's maiden name is... and my social security number is...
What's your date of birth?
Yesterday.
Do I look like I was born yesterday?
Well, I was.
Was it Mixed Master?
Mixmaster.
Mixed Master Poopy Poop is James.
I guess I'm the Hamburglar Bryant.
The Hamburglar.
He is MC Hamburger. Don't you try and take away from MC Hammers there,
What was my
okay?
name?
Your Vacuum Haver D. Samiski.
Can I be a
Vacuum
bacon
Haver?
burger?
What does that mean?
Vacuum Haver means you have vacuum.
Say your stupid name.
Huh? Oh, my name's Daniel Samiski.
He's Vacuum Haver D. Samiski.
You don't, well, I guess so.
We can
Sorry,
bleep out the
gave you a
last
what?
We can bleep out last names.
I don't care about last name. What does it matter?
Yeah.
Do we not care about last names anymore?
Well,
Do we
That
like
was a
officially
bird.
not care about last names
if they
anymore?
look me up, they're just gonna see child pictures.
I thought they're just going to see... I don't know if I want to say the word.
I thought he was going to say, if they look me up, they'll just see child
I don't want to say a
porn.
word. Is this a
I
word
was
you
like,
don't say?
Daniel, what kind of business
You know
are
what?
you in?
You know what
Bleep it
pictures
out.
on the internet?
We're not a very
a bad word.
organized
Yeah,
podcast right now.
that's
We're all
kind of
talking
a-
over each other.
There's also going to be a bleep in the middle of you guys talking, because me and Bryant are having a conversation about editing.
Yeah, I'm gonna bleep out this guy.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. I was just making sure. Because that's what his YouTube, not YouTube.
We need to
is.
make sure, Daniel, be sure to speak louder while this bleep's going on, and make sure we don't talk over each other again.
What are you talking about? I can't.
What?
I
I
don't
have
hear what you're
to
saying.
MC
Poop,
Hammer
but-
with-
video games.
Podcast.
There's
I
the
felt like
intro.
everybody just went out.
Video games podcast.
I would just like to take this opportunity to officially state that I wrote every single piece of freaking music that we use.
Who's I?
Scott Clutter. Thomas,
Yeah, thanks for that.
Middle name. my father's middle name is Beep.
So,
not
first off,
joking.
I want to say sorry to our audience for our very first episode of Gamin Nerds.
Gamin Nerds, the only show on the internet ever.
Ever. So, just to kind of explain what we're doing here, this is kind of like a podcast sort of setting where we're just going to talk about random and different things mostly about video games.
It's not a podcast though, because there's video that goes on
It's
background.
a podcast.
No.
theme.
It's a video
not.
cast.
Podcasts are my thing.
It's a theme. It's not an actual podcast. We're not going to put this on iTunes or anything.
What?
Not yet.
I am
Yeah.
what? No one can see, but I'm giving Daniel the stink eye all the time. But I'm giving Bryant the stink eye right now, but only with 1.5 eyes.
So why are we here?
So, because I thought of a new show, and I wanted to start it.
What? Please explain.
Well, I just had ideas. I want to talk about video game stuff, and I think we've got pretty good conversations about it. So why not record it and let other people indulge in the amazing and intellectual and
Intellectual, yeah.
We'll call it that.
I'm sorry, with me here, nothing's going to be intellectual. It's
Well,
going to be like political debates, just yelling over each other.
It'll be intellectual, but
But
it'll also be extremely aggressive.
My middle name is actually aggressive. My parents hated me. I'm very aggressive about it.
Oh man, I already forgot. What are we talking about?
I was about to say, so what's the first topic? I hope you hear that clap for no reason. Hey James, high five.
Oh, well, I was actually going for a high five. You just clapped. So what's the topic, Bryant?
Oh yeah, so we're gonna talk about
Sponsored by Mountain Dew.
No, we're not.
We
No,
don't
we're
get
not.
sponsors. We're too poor.
Hey, if anyone from Mountain Dew's listening, we'll take your money.
We're shameless.
That's how we get sponsors, right? We just tell them we'll take their money. We
Sure,
won't
that's
do
how it
anything
works.
for you for
I
it. We'll just
accept
take
cash
it.
or credit.
That's how it works.
Or debit.
When you run your
I should
podcast,
get a
you
card.
can do all the business calls
That's
too.
linked
Here's-
into your account.
Here's my card number.
Jeez. All right, so we're gonna talk about what in video games gives us like an immersive experience. So like,
I'm sorry, could you say that again? Because I don't think most of those words came out properly.
what about video games helps us have an immersive experience?
Okay, I can understand now.
I didn't.
So like,
Pictures help for me.
Pictures.
Having a video in the
Moving
background
pictures?
helps. Yeah, possibly.
I'm not into those sound-only games. Although those can be somewhat immersive.
Is that a thing?
is that?
Actually, yeah.
Huh. I mean,
I think I know of like one game.
Tune in next time after, we're going to still talk for several minutes now, but tune in next time whenever we talk about sound video games, which I have never heard of before.
that's pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool to try one of those. Don't know how we could record
That's
that.
what I say. And then in the background, we'll have footage of me playing Skyrim for no apparent reason.
But I came up with a list of a couple things that I guess helps me have a really fun and immersive experience in video games. Like, for example, like the little details. Like in the next Tomb Raider that's coming out soon, Lara Croft, she's gonna have like the snow and actually melting off of her hair. Like it'll snow on her, but then eventually melt off. Or like in
Now sit up and let's do this thing.
Resync real quick. What are we syncing to?
Nothing. Absolutely. It's one audio file.
That was 5 claps.
Alright. What was I saying?
Lara Croft. Not
Right.
about boobs.
So as I was saying, in like for
difficulties.
example, Lara Croft, she's gonna have the snow on her, and then it's gonna melt off.
Boobs are.
Like-
She does indeed have boobs, Scott. Good one. Good
Pretty
observation.
Ah.
He can't talk about Lara Croft
I don't know
for
why
5
that's so funny to
seconds
me either.
before you said, "Oh, she has boobs."
I'm talking about the hair.
But it's just funny because you pause. Lara Croft?
Go on, Bryant.
Anyways, and for example, like Master Chief on his armor, he's got like 117 on as braille on his armor.
Along with a picture of boobs.
Laura Cross. Oops.
I'm sorry.
I'm still laughing.
He had 007. Oh, I'm sorry, that's James Bond. 117.
117.
Scott's not going to be talking much. He's going to be laughing. Anyways, something about Lara Croft.
Oh.
It wasn't her boobs, but you said something else.
She has, like, snow melts into her hair.
Okay, snow melts in her.
Yeah, and then like in The Last of Us, how Ellie, like whenever you're not paused, but like you're just standing around, she'll be humming songs that she remembers before like the whole apocalypse happened.
Instead of the traditional thing, which breaks interaction, where they break the fourth wall and tell you need to get moving. Like, that's what most video games do, is whenever you stand still,
I always
Yeah,
hated
and
that.
It's like,
that's what I'm
or
saying.
it's-
It breaks the immersion, and almost every single video gamer hates it.
I'm gonna go on like a little tangent. On Battlefield 4, the campaign, I was just screwing around, and those two, they were like, "Come on, get in the elevator." I don't want to get in the elevator. You get in the elevator, and like I was just over at James's place, just screwing around with it.
Oh, that's true.
And then like I was just waited, and the two guys just started getting into a conversation.
It completely broke the immersion because you're on a top secret mission and, urgency is key and everything. And they're just kind of having a casual conversation
They're
about
talking about fortune cookies.
But it was funny.
Does that break the immersion?
In that one, yes, because
in the mood.
Like if you weren't surrounded by Chinese special forces who were trying to kill you the minute they saw you, and you're trying the whole mission was urgent and whatnot. It's not realistic in any way.
Yeah, like for me, like it was definitely funny. It was a good experience. I laughed a lot.
It was absolutely funny.
But it was not in the right mood of like the tone of the game right then.
I don't know if that would break immersion for me. Just because I've already got so desensitized to the idea of... Because, like, okay, great example comes from Skyrim. And it should break immersion for me, but it doesn't break immersion for me anymore because it's so common. Is that they'll be like, Mass Effect does it too. Any RPG does this. Any RPG with side quests. They'll be like, the main quest line's going to kill us. But you're free to go and help this other person if you want.
Yeah.
And like that to me, that makes it so I don't feel urgency about main quest lines ever. So I don't think that would break emergency. Coming up with words now. I don't think that would break immersion for me just because I'm so desensitized to that. It doesn't matter to me. I think that would add immersion for me.
Well, it's not even... the thing about the Battlefield 4 scene is that it's not that you can do something else to trigger it. It only happens when you break the immersion already by standing there for about 2 minutes.
It's like an Easter egg, kind of like in Halo 3. You can go to like certain areas or like off the map, quote unquote, and it'll do certain special things.
Like you can hear Griff and Simmons talking in one of the Halos.
Yeah, like the different difficulties. There's a little Easter egg where it's got different guys from Red vs. Blue. Yeah, different guys from Red vs. Blue, like with a different Easter egg from each difficulty.
But that's what I'm saying is like I feel like because I don't like time for me never makes me feel like immersion is not affected to me by how long I take to do something. So if I just sat around and then they started talking, to me that would add to immersion because sitting around and waiting doesn't take away immersion from me anymore. Like, if that makes any sense. I don't feel the bad side of it because I can understand how if you weren't used to it that would break immersion, that you're just sitting around. You're supposed to be in a rush and you're sitting around doing nothing. But for me, I don't feel that anymore. So if I sat around long enough, then people started talking instead of telling me to start moving like they do in most video games, then I would get more immersion out of it.
Here's the thing with that. So, like I said, you have to sit there for almost like a good minute and a half, 90 to 2 minutes before it triggers.
And half to 90 seconds.
During that time, they're sitting there telling you, "Come on, get in the elevator."
Oh,
yeah,
let's go, get in the elevator.
They're telling you to go, and then you're just
we gotta move, get in the elevator. And then they start talking after like a minute and a half.
Okay, then that would, okay, I'm sorry.
It's not even that you're just standing there, nothing's happening, and then they talk about it. It's like they're sitting there doing that fourth wall breaking already.
Hey, editor, I hope you can hear me first off.
Yes, I can hear him right here.
I hit the mic. Second off. I'm just gonna talk normal. Could we just edit that off? The part where I sound like an idiot because I don't know the full story. Because that sounds like it would break immersion pretty badly.
We didn't explain that in the first place anyways.
Yeah, that's fine. But
because that sounds bad. But like if they were just sitting around and they weren't talking and then they just started talking to each other, I feel like to me that would add immersion because it's like, oh look, they're not cardboard cuts who follow me around. They actually talk to each other. Yeah, I said cuts.
No, like if it was that, I probably would have been fine with it. Like, it's still, like, if you were taking the game serious for what it was, then it would still break the immersion, because that's not how that people in that real situation would behave. Mm-hmm. But as a gamer, it wouldn't break the immersion necessarily.
I never pay attention to games enough to realize this.
It's like the little things in there.
I don't pay that much attention to what they're saying randomly.
You look like you're thinking, Scott.
I'm thinking right now. I just had a realization, but I don't know if it is a realization, and we won't fact check it because we're lame like that. In Concordia, in Borderlands the pre-sequel.
Sanctuary.
No, that's Borderlands 2. In Borderlands the pre-sequel, Concordia.
Right.
The voice who talks over the announcements, the female voice, is that the Hyperion voice?
I don't know.
Because if it is, and I just realized that adds immersion, because it's like, then it reminds you of the fact that spoilers ahead, I guess.
Yeah.
Watch out. That Jack thinks that he owns, that Hyperion's essentially in control of Concordia.
That's a good point.
Because it would add, but if it isn't, then, obviously it doesn't really think. But I was going to say, Borderlands does a really good job of it to an extent of adding immersion by this. Because...
You talking about Handsome Jack?
I'm talking about Borderlands the pre-sequel right now. We can jump to other ones if
Are you
we
talking
want
about
to.
Jack?
No. Well, kind of. But, mostly the fact that whenever you're in a station, you hear announcements over the place the whole entire time. Any place where there's a central PA system, you will constantly hear announcements like you would in any regular place, any regular business. Mm-hmm. Especially a business that's under fire currently. And so...
Or heavily regulated.
Yeah, and so in Concordia, you hear her talking all the time, this lady voice. And that, to me, that adds a lot of immersion, especially because you can see how much effort the writers put into giving her funny lines, which fits with the style of the game. But it breaks immersion because they didn't give her enough.
That's
she
true.
repeats 2 or 3 things the whole entire time.
It's very repetitive, but it's if you don't listen to what she's saying, you just hear this voiceover in the PA system. It fully adds to the feel of this place is either heavily regulated by some governing agency or you're under attack. And there's announcements going on about it. But the game doesn't do it enough because, Scott said...
different enough.
Yeah, there's only 2 things that the person says.
Good example of it. Or an example of another video game that does it well at the same time as they do it bad is Fallout 3. Whenever you do anything in that world, of import, Three Dog, who was the general announcer for everywhere, he has his own radio station in that game. He says stuff every single time you do something. If you, spoilers, just put a spoiler alert over everything, because I'm going to be spoiling video games. If we're talking about them, I'm going to spoil them.
I don't think Fallout 3 is being spoiled right now. It's so...
Nah.
Whenever you can choose to blow up one of the towns, right? A nuke, you can set it.
That's
whenever you do that, things you can do. Three Dog starts swearing you out on his radio, calling you a maniac and all that. And whenever you do something to an important place, he talks about it. But he only repeats that same thing until you do the next thing. So after you've done all the important things in the game, he's stuck repeating 1 or 2 things. And so it adds immersion because it's I did something.
I got to that point a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and you know what I mean. Three Dog's good to listen to once, and then he gets annoying because he's just repeating the same thing. And it's like vanity searching yourself on Google, right? Where you type in your own name. After I did something in Fallout 3, every single time I would tune into Three Dog to hear what he had to say about me. Mm-hmm. But then I would hear it once, and I would tune out of Three Dog because he wouldn't have anything else to say to me.
He kind of runs dry pretty quick.
Yeah, it's the immersion there, but it's not enough.
Okay.
He reacts to what choices you made or what things you did.
But he only reacts to you. He only does it in one way.
Just wait until Fallout 4.
Yeah, I've got no clue what Fallout 4 will have in store. But that'd be pretty cool if it talks about other towns that are going on around you. Maybe things that you don't have a direct
Probably
hand
will.
involved.
They already had that going on in Fallout 3.
Yeah. So
that is true. Every once in a while they did talk about other places.
Oh, okay.
They would talk... they have their random facts, I guess they would that he would talk about every once in a while, but it's typically tied into what you're doing currently somehow.
Speaking of the Fallout series, one thing I never the only one I've played is Fallout New Vegas, and I've only played maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes into it. But I can say that's one thing that I really liked about that game in particular, because I can't say for any other game, any other Fallout game, is the music behind it. Mm-hmm. Just I don't listen to it very often, but when you hear it, it really, especially with the whatever is left of the towns, really brings you into that 40s and 50s era.
Yeah, they play music that goes with that time period, right before the whole...
It's actually real music from that era.
Another good example of... Because radio, I think, is one of the things that automatically immerses you in a game. Because any game that doesn't have a radio, you don't miss it. You don't think to yourself, boy, this needs a radio.
Right.
But any game that has it, you listen to it, and it automatically immerses you in the game. Because it's I am currently listening to what he listens to in this world. Mm-hmm. And another game series that I would almost argue does better... but is GTA.
GTA is a pretty good
I remember
one.
playing GTA 4 Vice City with my friend, and the thing that we would always do is we would listen to their talk shows because they were freaking hilarious.
They are pretty good.
I mean, they're pretty crude.
Yes.
But they're so funny, and it's so much useless stuff. Like, you don't need a
Like,
single bit of knowledge from that in the game.
I really did notice that in GTA 5. Like, I was listening to like a talk show radio thing. I went in, completed a mission, so I wasn't in the car listening. I came back, and it picks up, not where you left off, but where it would be.
So you would have missed something.
I missed like 5 minutes of the talk show. They were on a different subject, but you could still tell they were talking about the same general thing. That did catch my attention. It was pretty good.
I have a question for
Yeah.
Bryant now.
What?
What is your opinion on hardcore gaming modes, like in Fallout New Vegas?
The
Daniel can talk on this too. I'm just asking.
hardcore for New Vegas was like
You have to drink. and
you have to
eat
drink more
same
often,
episode.
you eat more often.
Like that.
And
Survival.
ammo takes weight.
What? I did not know that aspect.
Yeah, ammo weighs.
I personally haven't played New Vegas. I want to, but I'll compare it kind of like to Halo in its legendary mode.
On like Lasso or just regular legendary?
Regular legendary.
Okay.
I prefer to do like the medium or like a little bit above medium.
So you're not a hardcore gamer.
I
mean, in like the difficulty. Yeah, you are.
Not my first run through. Definitely not my first run through
Yes.
the game. But if I want the achievement and
Sissy.
if I really do like the series, then yeah, I'll do it eventually.
Daniel, but what do you think about it? Like, because I'll say what I think about them, and James already knows what I'm going to relate it to Skyrim, which doesn't have a hardcore, but he knows what I'm talking about. What do you think about hardcore mode, where it's like it's about as realistic as you get in a video game?
Well, I like it in Fallout because since it is like after nuclear warfare, it just puts you in the perfect mood of actual survival.
To stay alive.
Yeah, it's
Because it's more
like Minecraft.
follows the theme of like it is a survival game. I mean, you don't really think about it, but the whole premise is you've survived this nuclear explosion, and now you're surviving in this nuclear wasteland environment.
what it does remind me of Arma 2 DayZ mod.
Have you played that?
No, but I know a lot about it.
He does.
Because that's the game that would have a lot of little touches, I would think. I don't know if it does.
Because like in cold environments, you have to use heating packs because your arms will start shaking while you're holding your gun and stuff.
Yeah, we've watched videos of this one dude who like is very, very good at that kind of game. And that game, it really is the small things that make you worry. Like, what I noticed about like when we were watching those videos was like in that DayZ mod, zombies are like your last worry. They're around, but it's like what you would think in real life. There's not like 100 of them in one spot.
And like they're easier to avoid, whereas because you can kind of control how they interact with you.
Yeah. They will like attract to gunfire or a lot of noises, but like a real zombie would be, you can easily get away from them.
Real zombie.
But yeah, real zombie, as real as they can get.
I've seen zombies.
Oh well, you are a zombie.
So wait,
Spoiler alert.
so I guess are we waiting on what James for your response on like hardcore mode?
I wasn't getting everyone. I just asked you.
I haven't played it on Fallout.
I don't care what you say.
I'm sure you don't. I haven't played it on Fallout. Here's the thing, like with the Fallout series in particular, for me, I've never like caught on to it, but I've always liked the game.
Yeah.
Or
I can get that.
the series.
I can understand that.
Like Scott and Daniel have seen me play Fallout New Vegas, and I'll play it, but I just won't get very far because I'm not like attracted to playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the series. It's really cool, and I love the environment. I love the whole survival factor.
Mm-hmm.
And that hardcore mode I think is pretty neat. That where you have because you play the game normally and you find sparse water everywhere, and you don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
But
like Skyrim.
you can find food just everywhere. You can make food and whatnot, but you don't need it. I like how it has that hardcore mode where it makes it to where you do need it.
Mm-hmm.
So this actually brings me to a point. Is like there's like imagine Skyrim without food. It would seem rather barren. Like, it would be weird to see all these people and they don't have food. But you could play the game 100% through without ever picking up a piece of food. That's how I play it. I don't pick up food.
Nothing from the game changes, really. You don't bother
it
with
just
food
makes
to heal.
it feel
You
barren.
get healing potions.
Or use spells.
I want to tie this into what you guys said about Arma and tie it into another game that I think only I've ever played here. It's the point that Arma, if I understand what you guys are saying about it right, it sounds like they don't waste their immersion. Everything immersive is tied into you. Somehow the immersion affects the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
it's not just there for...
It's not there for
game's
fluff.
sake.
It's not there for just being there. Like the Braille on Master Chief's armor. That's there for just being there. It makes the game... It doesn't affect the story in any way. It doesn't affect the gameplay. It's just a really cool fact. And so, that's my question, is why don't more games make immersion more important? Because a good example of an example of a game that did it really well. It's a really old school game. I'm going to spoil the ending 100%. So if you want to play it, I'd recommend just turning this off and skip ahead, whatever. It's called Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. It was released for GameCube. It's one of my all-time favorite games that I never played all the way through, and I watched my brother play it. So the whole entire thing is you're a caravaner, and you have a town that you're defending. And, like, every so often, they have to get a crystal shipment or something like that. It's been a while, so if anyone who listens to this ever has actually played the game, they'll realize I'm messing up the story a little bit.
So correct him in the comments.
Yeah, obviously. But so if let's say so you have to go to all these other towns that have essentially been destroyed. Not all of them are towns. Some of them are just, like, dungeons. And you go in, and you fight through the monsters. There's the boss at the end. You kill the boss. You get a crystal. It goes back to your town. You don't have to bring it back. It just automatically goes there. And that town creates a force field that doesn't allow monsters to enter into it. A monster's coming, but it's where you can stay in and you won't take damage. Anywhere else, you start getting passively drained of energy and health. Mm-hmm. And that affects you in the game because you have a little teeny crystal chalice that you carry with you. You don't carry it specifically. You have a little AI that does it. The little cute Moogling things. I think they're in regular Moogle. Yeah. They're in regular Final Fantasy, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, those things carry it around for you. And it creates a little teeny area that you don't take damage in. And so what I like about the game is that they put in so many little details to make you know you are in a real world. You pick a profession. The profession doesn't affect you whatsoever, but it affects what your parents are. And if you pick, like, blacksmith, then your parents can do armory for you and stuff. Mm. And every single family would essentially be, like, every single shop is a family that would potentially have have a player character as their child. Obviously, if it was an MMO, then they all would, but it's not, so they don't. But they're all potential, essentially, parents like what you have. And one of the places that you go to is a village that their crystal caravan person died. And they waited for crystals to come back. Never came back until they got overrun by monsters. And that's the place where you're in, is you're in a failed town, essentially. And so, like, there are just little things, and they straight up tell you that in the narration. They tell you that this is a place where people used to live. Their caravan never came back, and they all died off. Like, it's little things that add to the depressing storyline. And when you're going around, anywhere you go, you will have random encounters. You might meet other caravanners. You might meet the Black Knight, who's a crazy guy. You might meet this one guy who is legitimately just, I don't even know how to explain him. He's just weird. He's really important, though, to the story. He actually gives you a riddle that helps you to finish the game at one point. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's the thing, is these events happen every single day. And
Animal Crossing.
And you have to use them to beat things. So the final, like, you have to talk to this one person to get through that weird, I don't know, he's like a bard, I guess. He gives you a riddle that explains to you how to beat this one really impossibly difficult level. He just tells you straight up what you have to do in it, but it's all in riddle, so you have to decipher it. And then the Black Knight, later, you see things from his perspective every once in a while, and you see that he's trying to kill this thing that only he can see. And that's why he's crazy. That's why he attacks other caravanners, is because the thing will go in front of them, and he's so battle-raged on trying to kill this that he'll charge, jump forwards, and kill whatever caravanners right there instead of hitting the thing. And he dies at the end. And it's like, you know the bad side. You know what he's doing, so it's like you feel bad for him. It's like immersive. But then the final boss is where they tie literally everything into the game. To beat the final boss, you have to remember events that happen throughout the whole entire game.
That's
Like,
that game.
well, but there's a
Sucks
journal
so
you
much.
can go through that records
Well,
everything.
and
So
I
if you fail, you can just read through it again and study.
And I suck at riddles. I'm like,
That one we looked up online. But like, so you
Disclaimer.
learn like the reason why they're so big on this is because this guy destroys memories. That's why the Black Knight went insane. Is because he tried to kill him, he failed because he didn't remember enough, and from then on he was plagued by this little fairy thing that was sapping his memory. So he was trying to kill it. That's why he went crazy. He just had no memory of what he was anymore. And it's like every single thing in that game is useful, and that's what I like about a game. Is whenever they take the immersion and they use it. They could have easily made the final boss just be a crazy hard fight. That's what all the other That's what all the other bosses had been up to that moment, was just hard fights. But they chose that instead of just making it a crazy hard fight, they made it a fight that relied upon every single thing you did in the whole entire game. And they made the immersion mean something.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But there's a cap to that. Like, let's say you took Fallout and you tried to make it 100% immersive. You'd have to pee. You'd have to sleep. Like, I mean, obviously in hardcore you do have to sleep, don't you? You have to sleep on time. You have to drink. You have to eat. If you made it 100% immersive, your guy would eventually not like eating things as much.
oh yeah, there's a Minecraft mod that has that, where if you keep eating one food over and over again, you start like not wanting to eat it, so you have to eat a different kind of food and switch up your foods every time.
That just seems annoying. Just
I'd
from a
love to
video.
play
Well, that's
games
why
like
it's called
that.
hardcore
From
Minecraft.
just from a casual
Or
player's
Mad
perspective.
Pack.
Yeah, you are a very, very casual player.
One thing that I'm really excited about Fallout 4 is you're gonna be able to build
Are you?
Bill?
Yeah.
Are they
Like,
taking
you
the
can take,
Hearthstone
like-
effect?
like parts and like literally build a fort,
That'd be interesting.
and you can take like
I
other
do
parts off the ground and like make a handmade scope and put it on your gun.
I do like that. That is something I've liked in certain games. Most games struggle to do it well, but is you being able to customize or create a place or a base or anything really, because then a lot of games struggle with it because it's hard to add in that creativity on top of the game itself anyways. Like Skyrim, you can buy houses in each different place and you can buy all the upgrades for it, but you can't really change anything to that. It just,
can if you get the
without
DLC.
the Hearthstone DLC. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're talking about the vanilla Minecraft, right?
but yeah, like
I'm sorry.
vanilla Skyrim. But yeah, like where
It's like the Bethesda podcast right here.
but
Like,
like
Bethesda does it well.
I like how you can like customize it, because then it feels like, even with like just the standard Skyrim, no DLCs, like whenever I get a home, like I buy a house and get all the upgrades for it, even though I didn't customize any of it, I do feel more I feel more homely in that building than I do anywhere else in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You feel more at home.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Because homely means you feel not so attractive. Like you feel plain and not
Also
so
very true.
And
I feel very homely.
Another very cool thing is
That has nothing to do with video games, though. Well,
No, well,
sorry. Go on, vacuum having Decimiski.
and another cool thing is you actually get to like change every like last detail in your power armor.
Are you talking about Fallout 4?
Yeah.
So what the frick
No.
are we talking about right now?
we're jumping. Hey, really, Bethesda.
But
Hey, Bethesda, we'll take your money.
We'll take.
We'll take all of the money.
But,
Hey, you're sponsoring
like-
the patch. You can sponsor us.
so I was watching the video of like them
Shout out to the patch, by the way.
basically beta
Yeah.
testing it, and the building looks really cool.
That is the one thing that I have to ask Bryant, because I think that. Well, I'll go around and ask everyone, and then I'll say my opinion afterwards.
Again.
Well, but this is gonna be. Well, yes, I guess that's how we did it last time.
Go on.
Let's say you had a game. We'll take it from a. Shut up. We'll take it from a Skyrim point of view, like a medieval game.
Okay.
Where you could literally do anything you wanted, obviously to the extent that video games
Smoke weed.
allow it. So, like, playing a farmer is a valid option. So essentially Minecraft, but like more.
I have a career in video game. Yay!
Like Minecraft for Skyrim, Minerim, we'll call it.
Closest thing I can think of that is Ark.
But like, let's say
It's
you
already
played a game
Skyrim.
where like you can literally just decide like, oh, I don't want to be the hero in this story. I want to be a farmer,
Mm-hmm.
and so you go and farm.
That's me in Minecraft every time we play.
Or like
So
you.
we're talking about Sword Art Online.
Basically.
Actually, yes.
This
Yeah,
is
that's
legit
pretty much.
Sword Art
But-
Online.
Scott has the face right now of he's gonna kill you for bringing that up.
It's a serious thing. They're agreeing with
it's,
me.
Yeah.
it's that is exactly what you're describing.
Like,
But
you either go on fight to help beat the game, or you just sit there and farm and do whatever you want.
You can be a blacksmith. You can be a
Yeah.
shop. You can be an assassin.
You can,
that's
Anyways,
one thing
keep
I
going.
you
like.
can have a bar.
Go on,
Keep
go
going.
on. You can do anything. You can have any career. You don't have
But it's
to be here.
medieval.
Medieval.
And
Go
it's
on,
like
Scott.
Skyrim.
Go on with your. I'm patting Scott's foot, by the way.
Mine
What was the name of that game actually called in the show?
Sword Art Online.
Oh, okay.
Go on.
I'm trying to let the dead air sit heavy, just so everyone can. I hope you can sense my brooding in the side corner over here.
Okay, I got a wrap-up question because we're going pretty long.
Fine.
Let's do it. No, do yours. Do yours.
Well, because I just stop touching my foot.
Do yours, then we'll do the wrap-up.
My question is, would you play a game like that if hardcore mode was not optional?
If you had to do it.
You have to sleep, eat, drink, use the restroom. Like, essentially, imagine taking the survival, not the survival, imagine taking the management side of Sims where you have to take care of your person, but it's from a first-person point of view.
It's like Skyrim, but
You
the
just
Sims.
described Sims.
I know, but it's from a first-person point of view, not third-person.
Sports.
A voice-person point of view. I'm from the
So
Bronx.
it's like it's
I'm
like
from
So-
Bronx
it's
accent.
like
From New
Skyrim
Jersey.
with the
Jersey
like
Shore.
It's Skyrim Sims.
So
Sims.
this will be the
Sims.
make or break point for me for that. If I pause and leave the game, either pause or
is
turn
it
it
a
off.
real time game?
Is it a real? Do I have to go back an hour and pee, or whenever I turn off the game and pause and leave it, when I come back, is he like that?
It is functions exactly like Skyrim. So time stops when you want it to stop.
Okay, so I can eat up,
It is
I
not
can
Tamagotchi.
pee, I can sleep.
Yeah, that was my question. Can
It's
you leave it
Sims.
for a day and they'll be dead?
It's Sims, not Tamagotchi.
That would suck.
Okay.
So yes, you are 100% in control of it, but it's essentially it's Skyrim, but you don't have to be the hero if you don't want to. Mixed with the Sims management of your actual person, where your person can die just from not taking care of themselves.
Honestly, I'd probably play through
That
the
sounds
main
like Fallout.
story once.
It's not It's not your bag of chips.
It's something that I'll definitely try, and
Well, you tried because you
I
try
think
any
I would-
video game that's got a
well, I
novel
think I would.
concept.
I think I'd enjoy it to an extent. I wouldn't enjoy doing it all the time.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's like kind of similar. I would definitely play
Yeah,
it.
let's get James's point of view on this one.
I would definitely play it, and I probably would come back to it. Like, I would play it multiple times or keep up with the same character, but I wouldn't say that I would be playing it very much. Like, I wouldn't be playing it 80 hours of gameplay like I do on my other game currently.
To be honest, I would constantly play that game. I love.
I was about to say,
games.
me and Daniel would play the crap out of that game.
I know from experience, Daniel, like, for example, like, we don't have a graphics processor, so we're limited to the games we can play. You play the Daisy mod on Minecraft constantly.
I love survival. It's
Absolutely, like,
Oh,
the
there's nothing
same,
wrong with that.
the
Yeah.
same server, which is a pretty tiny map, relatively. Constantly, for,
Bunch
like,
of
unless the dudes are on. Constantly.
And my answer is yes, because I've already done it on Skyrim. You remember that character.
That's
I had
true.
a character I played who I
He
played
set-
her as
he
a
set
pacifist.
rules.
And I had to eat, I had to drink, and I had to sleep. So I carried wine with me, I carried food with me, and I never openly attacked
So
the
even
character.
if you didn't need to heal, you ate.
Yeah, I just ate food
Yeah.
like once every 15 minutes in real life. I would just be like, oh, I should eat food now.
So if you died, you
Like,
died.
at
That
least-
character's done.
No, I don't play Nuzlocke challenge. Screw that. That's
No,
a random
like, he
Pokemon.
really did.
Shut
like,
up.
like he even like had to wear the clothes that character would wear.
Yeah, I wore It wasn't fine clothes. It was just a regular dress because I play female characters.
Yeah, he played a female mage,
Same here.
so like he had just like a typical dress, not like a rich person, but not the rags, just like a standard dress, and wore like a cheap tiara.
Yeah, it was one of the circlets.
Yeah, it was one of the circlets.
Then I had a necklace, a ring, regular boots, regular gloves.
I can't remember. Did you carry a knife on you?
No, I carried absolutely nothing on
He
me.
carried nothing except as much
The
food
clothes
as
on
he
his
would
back?
be able to carry in real life, and drink. So he carried like
I also didn't loot with this character very much. I would only pick
Sure.
up like things like potions that I knew I could sell
Did you
for a
pick up
really high
cash?
value. Yeah, I would pick up gold, obviously.
I was gonna say,
yeah. He never ever like physically attacked anyone. He never even used spells against people. He only ever
I would summon
Would you
Summon.
do
Atronachs.
defense?
I would summon Atronachs and I would
Yeah,
use
what
spells
was
on
it?
myself.
Yeah, he would do self spells.
And I always had a follower.
That's true.
And if I'd gotten far enough with this character, I would have had a dog with me at all times too. But I just never got that far
You know
with
what
that
pissed me
character
off?
because
You have a dog?
yeah, if you go to Markarth, you can buy a dog
yeah,
out
you
in front
can
of
get
it.
a dog.
That's true.
And with the Dawn Guard DLC, you can have a husky that follows you. It's
Aw.
freaking
Yeah, I know.
cute as heck. dude.
Huskies are adorable.
Yeah, it's freaking.
That's a podcast for another day.
Freaking,
Though.
I'm gonna go back and play some Skyrim. Anyways.
But yeah, so it sounds like you would play it once just to get the experience.
Yes.
Bryant.
Yeah.
James, you would play it because it sounds interesting, but more just to see the concept than anything else.
And I would probably come back to it a couple times.
Daniel, you'd play it like a main game for probably the first month it came out, and I would probably do the
At
same
least.
thing. And then I would come back to it often, and Daniel would come back
No
to it
lie, I've
often.
been playing Crafting Dead for about all summer.
That was the sloppiest high five I've ever heard.
That was even worse.
That was
You know what? You know what?
Tried and that was worse.
You know what?
You're gonna high five yourself.
Yeah, he did.
All right, so kind of like here's the wrap up question.
Shoot.
So, and I'll go ahead and say mine first, just to give you all an example. But can you remember a time where
Yes.
there was a certain thing, like a certain aspect in the game,
No.
that caught you off guard or
Maybe.
really impressed you? Like,
Give your example.
and relating to like the immersion experience. So like for me, it's Bastion, and it's got a narrator. Whenever I was first playing the game, the very beginning, I was like,
Let
I was
it be
walking
known
around.
you are a very emotional gamer.
Yes.
Yes.
Go
This
on.
is you. You're crying at the end of Bioshock.
Hey,
Who wouldn't?
shut up.
Because
Not
me and
me.
Daniel are the real man.
Go on.
Anyways.
Go on, Brian.
Anyways, so
We'll talk about Bioshock later.
it's still the very beginning of the game, and you're walking down, and you get your hammer, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Is it hammer time?
Yes.
MC
And I was
Hamburger!
Oh my goodness.
Hey, I brought it around.
And I was just destroying stuff, and I was just wailing around, just like, oh, this is pretty cool. I want to see what I can destroy.
What game?
And Bastion.
Okay, sorry.
And the narrator commented on that. And like he said like a line that's something along the lines of like kids just standing around breaking everything he sees. And I'm just like, whoa. Like that blew me away because I was
It wasn't even story related. It was
no.
like,
It was like I was waiting for the next checkpoint for him to say something because I was walking as you walk down, he says stuff, explaining things that are going on around you.
right.
But I was just standing around breaking stuff, and he commented on that. I was like, it caught me off guard, and
So
it
you're
was
saying good immersion.
really cool. Yes, it was just it caught me off guard and just gave me a really cool experience with it. And just that game had so many things with that, but that's one moment that I remember the most that really like impacted me. Like, wow.
Like a moment of realization for immersion. Shoot, I don't know. The game I mostly play is Battlefield 4, and
You can have a bad immersion moment where it was so
Well,
wrong it broke you out of it. But not like glitches, obviously. Like something
yeah.
something the designers put in that just you looked at and you're like, what the frick is this? This doesn't happen in real life.
I don't know if I've had a moment, but I would say, okay, so let it be known, I am
from sea to sea.
I am a very, very strong believer in the military, and I know a fair amount about the military and its functions. Now, when I play games like Battlefield 4, there are a lot of things that are realistic and cool. For example, the weapons and their functions. even down to details in the soldiers' uniforms. And those are pretty interesting, but something that in pretty much every single military game I've ever played that brings, it's not like a moment, but it's just a major thing in the game that brings me out of the immersion is the fact that you are a mass of completely unorganized, random people who do not communicate in any way, shape, or form with each other and are fighting another mass of random people who are pretty much a mirror image of y'all.
What about your friends?
It's like a bunch of bounty hunters duking it out instead of a military force.
Yeah. And so, like Battlefield 4 and, the newer Battlefields, I don't know about the older ones, I haven't played those, have brought in, like, as opposed to Call of Duty and other games like that, like a squad system, where you can set up squads, organize yourselves, and even communicate with just your squad. Which helps, especially if you're playing with friends. Your squad can absolutely destroy if you stay together, communicate, and organize your traits.
Unless you're total bad at it.
Shut up. And which makes it more realistic.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the biggest thing, and I don't have a problem with it because I love playing the game anyways. But it's just one of those big, like, things that brings me out of it and just never lets me forget that this is a video game, nothing real. Is the fact that it's just literally anywhere from freaking 12 to 36 random unorganized people to versus the same organization just duking it out on a random map. And that's just one of those things that really brings me out of an immersion moment in these military games because it's just so stupid. It really is. It's a stupid idea. This would never happen ever in real life. But I mean, they're fun games, and clearly a lot of people play them. So, but it's just one of those things. Yeah, a lot of people like these games.
People like games that are fun.
And so it's just one of those things that's like, this is clearly not a realistic game in this sense. That's just one. Like, I don't think I don't have like a moment.
So you have a bad immersion moment.
Yeah.
All right, Vacuum Haver, have at it.
Anything that like stuck out in a game.
But you should have a good one. You play enough games that our immersion's actually vital to it.
Anything at all. Even a bad thing. Something I was like, whoa, okay, that's stupid, but not a glitch.
Yes, no glitches. Something that was intentional.
What's stupid about Crafting Dead is, so there's all different ways you can get water because you have to refill water. But the stupid thing is,
you were talking about this earlier.
Why can't you refill a water bottle?
Like a plastic water bottle.
Yeah, like a plastic water bottle, but you have to have a water canteen to refill it. And not to refill the water bottle, but you have to have a water canteen. That's the only thing you can refill. But you can't refill a water bottle.
It's like you can find a bottle and use it, but you can't use it again.
No. It once you use it, it like crushes it and you have to drop it.
Yeah. It literally becomes a piece of trash in the game.
I'm just imagining him going,
crunch! He's like, I'm so thirsty! He's like,
that's literally basically what it does. Like, the second you drink it, it just crunches and you drop it.
Well, the other thing is...
that really would take me out of it.
The other thing is, your character, like, if it was like one thing where you drank it, and your character crushed, it literally turns into a piece of trash that you cannot do anything with in the game. If it would be one thing if they did it and your character immediately dropped it, it goes back in your inventory.
As just a piece of trash.
As a piece of trash. So you have to open your inventory, pull it out, and then throw it on the ground.
That would drive me insane.
If it, like, and there are, like, juice pouches in that game, which are understandable.
I think juice pouches are more...
There are Jews in that game.
Well, so they're like juice pouches and cans. Understandable. Use those. There's not really a reuse for them.
Yeah, because you can't put a top on it again.
But the same thing with those that, like, I would agree with, but also, like, a different part of it is that it goes back in your inventory.
Even the juice box.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Yeah, you use it, but it's a piece of trash goes in your inventory.
One thing that brings me into immersion during Crafting Dead is, like, the fact that you have to use a can opener to open cans.
That is cool. Like, you can find a can opener. And
you really have to have the right tool to do something, even to that level of, like, mundaneness.
And if there's barbed wire, you have to have barbed wire cutters to get through it.
Yeah, you can't just break it.
Could you use? Is there like a Swiss Army knife? Could you use that to open up a can?
There's only can openers now.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been adding new stuff in like every couple of weeks.
Yeah, I've never played it, but I've seen you play it almost every time I'm over.
Something I thought was interesting on that same thing, the Daisy mod of Minecraft, and this comes from Daisy itself, the Daisy mod itself, is the fact that when you communicate with people, like open chat, it's limited. It's limited to range.
Yeah, that's a really good immersion thing.
Kind of like it's got like a radio signal or something like that.
Pretty much
like an FM
like
radio.
in the Daisy mod itself, like you can use a mic and a headset.
Like your chat that you send out only goes in with a certain amount.
It's like people can hear you within shouting range or something.
Yeah, so you can, like in we watched those videos, like I said, of the guy playing Daisy mod. He would find someone, go up and hide near them, and then he would shout in the mic, hey you, are you friendly? And like stuff like that. And they'd be like, where are you? Like, because you can't see them, but you can hear them. That was pretty freaking cool.
That's actually kind of funny.
I
wonder if they're like looking around, they're like, where'd he go?
Sometimes they do panic, they're like, I can hear him. Or they won't have a mic, and they'd be like, you see the character just like squirming around looking for them. It's pretty funny.
And then, like, a cool thing that they put in is, like, there's bandits and heroes. Bandits are all the game that want to kill other players. And heroes are the ones that want to help other people to not be bandits, basically. And kill bandits.
Yeah.
It's like giving you roles.
The game itself actually can figure that out based on your gameplay.
Oh, nice. So
like
it has
an insanity level or something.
It has like a morality code to it, like a morality system to it. That's interesting.
It's kind of based off of like killing players and killing zombies.
Yeah, like if you kill a player, your humanity drops 100. So,
okay.
And if you kill zombies, it goes up 25.
Yeah, and so that was pretty interesting.
What about you, Scott?
Mine is a weird example, and
all
right. So James and Bryant know that one of my all-time favorite games, definitely my favorite game that I've played recently, is Spec Ops: The Line.
Oh, I was gonna say Animal Crossing.
No, I've never played Animal Crossing, unfortunately. It's Spec Ops: The Line.
Yeah.
And I'm about to spoil something for James, even though I'm just gonna spoil it.
That's fine.
So spoiler, and I will admit, I honestly want people to play this game. So it's a really gritty first-person shooter. I would honestly recommend anybody who hasn't played it to skip the next 2 minutes or so, because I'm gonna spoil it, and I don't want to spoil it for
Stay
people.
tuned. We'll tell you whenever it's good.
It's pretty. It's
Whenever
a
you're gonna
good
listen.
game too.
That's something you want me to play.
Yes, and I'm gonna spoil it. Not to spoil it for you two, but just because I want to. It's my favorite. It's like the thing that made me go, holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an example of immersion really affecting gameplay. Is you do things in the game that make one of your squad mates, Lugo, really uncomfortable. Like, there's a part where you burn a bunch of people on accident.
I didn't feel bad about that. In any
and just
way, shape, or
you
form.
continue to do things throughout the game that make Lugo uncomfortable. The other characters all like, all right, we got to do our job. You made some mistakes, but we got to go forwards. But Lugo's like, why are we doing this still? We can leave anytime we want. There is no mission for us to fulfill. And eventually, he's the first one to die. And he gets hanged, by a bunch of the people. And then you can actually decide to let them go, or you can shoot them, like citizens, refugees. I shot them, because I'm a bad person. But,
I respect that.
if you die, you always go to the loading screens. And the loading screens almost never tell you what to do in the game. They just say things like, do you feel like a hero yet? After you've been slaughtering American soldiers because they're renegades. How many Americans have you killed today? One of them near the end is, before you came to Dubai, there was about 5,000 people. How many people do you think are left? But the one that really stuck out to me was the one about Lugo. After he dies, one of the first loading screens I got was, Lugo probably would have gotten PTSD from everything, so really, you did him a favor.
Wow.
It's really immersive, because it's like, it's letting you, the gamer, know you're directly responsible for what happened to him. Even though you technically aren't doing any of this, we're holding you, the gamer, responsible for everything that's been done up to this point.
These ones and zeros are dead because of you.
Well, and the whole entire point of the game is that the designer said this when an interview, because someone interviewed them about it, like, how did you make a game that was so harsh? He was like, we didn't. We told people that they could, If people wanted to play through it, they could. But nowhere in the game does it stop you from exiting, quitting, and never picking it back up.
Yeah, that's true. Like, even the game itself will, like you said in the loading screen, some of them were like, you are responsible for this. Or even, like, you can leave at any point in time.
There is one that, and so I would say the loading screens in this game are executed perfectly to make it really immersive. Also, they have, like, slight animation, so there's one where there's a bunch of hanging corpses in the background, and they're just, like, slightly going with the wind. So it's like the loading screens are really immersive. And one of the loading screens, like, another one that stuck with me was something to the effect of, it's like, because they kind of, like, try and make you feel guilty, but at the same time, they try and make you do have the cognitive dissonance that your character's having, where he doesn't think he's responsible.
Yeah.
And it was like, you're still a good person after all this. It's one of them.
You're just doing a job kind of thing.
And then another one's like, you're just doing your responsibility for the greater good. Yeah, like that. Well, he was never told to do any of this, so you can't say that. But it's like, you're just doing what you had to do. And then one of them is actually that, like, is kind of supposed to be a teaser towards the end to the fact that your guy is insane. Is bigger spoiler. It says cognitive dissonance is whenever two ideas that are contrary to each other enter your mind, and one of them has to rule over the other. And it's the whole entire idea that he creates the enemy. The enemy's dead. The enemy's been dead for like 10 years, or not 10 years, I'm sorry, like a month or so at least. But he creates this thing he hears. I was just saying the first number that came to my mind. He creates this enemy in his head who he's saying is still alive, and he thinks he's hearing voice transmissions from him, and he's not. Not the radio man, but Conrad himself.
Oh, okay.
He's dead. That, like, option where you have to pick one or the other, that's your guy's just standing around thinking that to himself.
Huh.
And so it's like,
interesting.
That's the whole entire point, is that your guy is supposed to be like you, and the loading screens really drive it home by making you, the player, consider what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
You personally are slaughtering probably thousands of Americans by the end of the game. You are personally the cause of all the water in the area being unusable because of something else you do. You are personally the cause of just murdering like 17 people, I think is what it was, with this super flammable substance. Like, it's all you, the gamer. You could quit. You're deciding to play this still. And then later on, your other ally dies too. He dies essentially like realizing you're insane. It's just like, you're crazy. Go on with it then. Go finish your crazy quest.
You love this game so much, and you know that I do like all of us, I do have very high morals, but when it comes to like a military job, in a way, I'm more willing than you two to let those go. And
not in video games for me. Video games, I don't give a crap.
Yeah,
but
like we've discussed about this,
yeah.
like if you were in this situation, would you kill this person? And I, without like a hesitation.
Oh, that's right. We
like
had
a
that
child,
question.
if you opened up a door.
We don't seem to do that in a different one.
Without hesitation, I'm very much a survival or duty bound person, whereas you two would question that immediately. And so you loving that, like how interesting this game really is, and it really is. You had me play it, and you were with me playing it. And somewhere in the middle of me playing, you were at like when stuff starts to get real and serious.
The first time you fight Americans.
Yeah, you looked at me and you asked me, "How do you feel about this right now?" And I was like, "Well, I don't really." Like I said something along those lines. Yeah. I was like, "I don't feel anything. Like I'm without hesitation doing this." Now, if we saw Bryant playing this, he would definitely question things way before he did anything. Whereas I did the opposite. I did things and never even thought to question because I'm so like I have my own self duty that I live by.
So yeah, if you want a first person shooter that does immersion right, this game, 100% Spec Ops: The Line.
Absolutely, yeah.
Game of the year for me. It's not the game. It didn't come out this year, but it's my game of the year because I played it this year.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. How we're gonna do our whole game of the year.
As far as immersion go, I will say like great games are like the DayZ mod. Great games are. Definitely, Spec Ops: The Line is probably
Fallout New
top
Vegas with hardcore.
Fallout New Vegas.
Pretty much Bethesda games.
Bethesda games in general focus a lot on immersion. Yeah, that's the whole entire point. They want you to feel like you're the character.
Yeah, they do a good job of that. But yeah, and so I really like that immersion.
You guys are leaving out Minecraft.
done right, immersion
Well, it does do immersion, but it's a
can
different style.
make
of
you
immersion.
feel like you are responsible for everything.
All right. Well, we've actually been going for quite a long time.
Pretty sure it'll be several parts.
Maybe, yeah, we'll see. But I want to thank everybody for joining us for our very first episode of Gamin Nerds.
He also wants to He also wants to thank. That was on
Sank.
purpose.
Sank.
He also wants to thank DJ Milkshakes, MC Hamburger, Mixmaster.
I'd like to thank
Flava
Scott,
Flav, or Poopy
James.
Poop. I'm sorry, Flava Flav, you're not here. Mixmaster Poopy Poop and Vacuum Having D Samisky.
Yeah, all those crazy kids.
And our audience, the Cool
Yes.
Cat Club.
And if you like this video, go ahead and give us a like. And if you want to hear more of what we have to talk about in the future, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. And if there's anything you want us to talk about, like give us some ideas.
Controversial or not.
Or not, yeah. Just go ahead and let us know in the comment section below. And, we'll take a look at it. We might use it because, we might be talking about stuff you don't want to listen to. Or we might run out of stuff. So, just go ahead and let us know. And thanks for joining us.
Yep.
The music's all my fault.
What?
Bye.
I couldn't think of what else to say, but
Bye-bye.